Okay, so you're at the stage where you can upload your Word files to HTML and put them into the WebCT course. I'll be explaining the process, maybe not into great detail because there's a lot of different steps to follow, but this should give you a pretty good overview. Hopefully you have all of your files clearly labeled in folders where you know where everything is going to be. For my A10 course, when I developed it, this is basically how I had everything set up. Let's go into, I had 3 modules in my course. The first one was challenges. So we're going to start by looking at my very first assignment. I'll show you what you have to do to get it into HTML. I typed up my first assignment, ex-basketball player, and you can see it is a very long assignment. You don't want to put this as one page into Dreamweaver because a student will have to scroll a long way to get to the bottom, and that's just not good for course development. You want to break it into sections and pages. So what I'm going to do is just highlight what I want on the first page. That should be enough. I'll copy it. I will put it into Dreamweaver. And what I'm going to do is make a table. I'll show you why. 2 by 3 should work. Here's my table. I'm going to expand the sides a little bit just so that there's a little bit of room on the sides, borders. You don't want to overwhelm the student with a whole bunch of writing on the whole entire page. So I might put a title up in here, and I can center that, boldface it, whatever. And in here, I'm going to paste the text. I'm going to make sure that the formatting is correct because sometimes from Word to Dreamweaver the formatting kind of gets messed up a little bit, but it looks like it's good. At the top, under Title, this is what's going to show up in the tab of your web browser. And when I save it, I'm going to save it as by a name that I know. I'll be able to remember what lesson it is just by looking at the title, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's just say it is ex-basketball player module 1, lesson 1, page 1. I can save it like that, and make sure you save it where you know you're going to have all your stuff. So let's say I saved it. I'm going to show you where I saved my stuff. I saved it under HTML. So, module 1. This is what mine looked like. You can see I put a little bit of color in my table just so that the students would know this is module 1. Module 1's color was blue. Module 2 and module 3 had different colors, so it was just easy for the students to see what they were in by color coding. This is a nice length because the kids don't have to scroll down that far to get to the bottom of the page. Once you have this saved, what you're going to do is do that with all your lessons. You can see I have 4 pages for my first lesson. I have 5 pages for my second lesson, etc., etc. in module 1. Then, what I'm going to do is using WinZip, I am going to zip this one file to make one package. Instead of having to upload each one of these pages individually, if I zip it, I can upload that one file into WebCT. So once I zip that file, I can go into my course, upload, and I can choose that zip file. Now you can see how I organized my WebCT course too, so it would be easily navigated once I have all my files in there. I have my HTML module 1, 2, 3, rubrics, handout keys, etc., etc. And that way I know exactly where everything is when I upload into WebCT. The more organized you can stay, the better it's going to be. So once I upload that zipped file into my WebCT, I click that file and I can click on unzip. Then what's going to happen is it's going to take all those individual little files from the big zip package and unzip them, and you're going to have them all here. Instead of doing it one at a time, it'll just do it in one complete step. So then I can see exactly my file like it shows up in here. Once all your files are up, you can go back to your home page, and once you insert a content module, you can put a title using all these actions on the right side. You can add a heading, then you add files. So you're assigning files to each heading. I put a heading of X basketball player. It's my first file. Then I attach the first 4 pages that I designed in HTML, and I selected them and I indented them. That way you have this big number 1, and these ones are sub numbers under this category: 1.1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see that each one of these pages is named to correspond with where it needs to be on the page. That way I didn't have to look at every single page and everything is in order. Then I'd add another heading, number 2, if, indent, and then add these 5 pages, again using these links on the side to help you do that. And you just keep on populating each one. And it's kind of exciting because now you can actually see your course slowly taking shape, and all that work you put into doing all of your pages are now visible on the internet. So you can see you went from Word to Dreamweaver, converting it to HTML. All those files you zipped, uploaded it into WebCT, unzipped it, and then you assigned them to where they needed to be in your course. It's a lot of steps, I know, and I kind of only touched on them, but that's the process that you need to follow to get your Word documents into WebCT.